Assalamu alaikum, in the name of Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear colleague, we start 19th monthly webinar on Mizaj research, and the subject and the topic of our session is about the Mizaj of drugs or Advia Mizaj. That we are at the service of our speaker, Professor Ghulamuddin Sofi from Department of Advia in National Institute of Unani Medicine from Bangalore, India. And after that, we will discuss about the opportunities about the drugs of in the concept of Mizaj of drugs in Unani medicine, Persian medicine, and inshallah we will design a new project and research about the temperament of drugs in Unani Persian medicine. Thank you for your participation, all my dear colleagues, and I ask dear Professor Ghulamuddin Sofi to start his presentation.
Thank you, sir, very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all. My paper, which was published in the Hippocratic Journal of Unani Medicine, the determination of Mizaj Adwiya of single Mufrad drugs, by an inventory which we established, exemplifying various attributes, organoleptic and physical properties of those drugs. So this work we started in 2013, and we tried to assess how to assess the Mizaj of a drug if we don't have various books in which the Mizaj of a drug is written, how we would do it. If only a methodology is given and we don't have any any description that this drug is hard, this drug is barid, or this drug has degree of 3, how we will do it? Basically, what our project saw, that it wanted to give a predictive nature of this assessment scales. Because when we see from the books, which is a very great clinical experience from centuries, which we cannot overlook, but being it a science, we need a method.
Sorry, Dr. Sophie, could you share your presentation, or I ask my colleague to share it, your article?
He can share my article because my laptop it has gone in update mode, so I was waiting for it to get updated. When it will be updated, I will shift to my laptop. If it will be possible, you can share. It will be very good for me also.
Okay, no problem. I'm sharing now. Do you have my share?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So this study, its aim was to assess the Mizaj of this Mufrad drugs. When we want to know what this Mizaj is, we should know first basically its meaning. It is one of the fundamental principles of Unani medicine. When we say fundamental principles, that means it is a necessary principle without which we cannot understand the state of body. There are basically 7 tabiya without which we cannot think of a body to exist. Among them, Mizaj is one of the functional parameters that has to be there so that we can see how the body can function, how it can go for the afal, or how it can go for the normal functioning of the body. When we say of Mizaj, human Mizaj, there are various theories regarding personality which can be correlated with Mizaj, but these theories, they have psychological information. They don't have the full this essence of what Mizaj is. Here, when we say human Mizaj has been assessed by Allamate Ajnas Ashra, and it has been developed as a very good, validated and standard scale by colleagues, and Mujahidi sir, he has developed it into a very good scale which is well validated and standardized. Taking the lead from this his studies, I wish to have an instrument for seeing what is the mizaj of a drug. And again, I said we wanted to give a predictive value to our study so that we can predict if a thing is there, if it can be administered or it can be applied to the body, what should be its mizaj. So when we thought about this study, what we did, we had a conceptual frame. That is, we needed to have a criterion or what we say internal validity for our concept, for our scale. For that, we had to go to the literature, and it is our what we say, we are very fortunate that we have a lot of literature in Unani medicine about Mizaj. From Galenus, then from Rabban Tabri, then Razi, and then Ibn Sina, all have explained about this Mizaj in a very good way. And among all them, this our Ibn Sina, the prince in the scholars, he has synthesized it, he has framed this scale, and he named it Ajnas Ashra scale. This Ajnas Ashra scale, when he framed it, it was not an objective scale. We had very much subjectiveness in it. When previous scholars would read it, they would simply feel that, okay, Malmas, it should be Har, and it should be Motadal, and it should be Barit. They had the idea what does it mean. But for a scientific community, every person with sense perception, it has different thresholds. So it will always be considered as a subjective parameter in that way. So Mujahidi and his team, they try to give it an objective nature by weaving all those 10 alamat into an objective way, so that we could get a score, and then we would say whether it is Har, whether it is Barid, whether it is Motadil. In a similar vein, when we say that Mizaj of a drug, here we have to consider one difference between the human Mizaj and the Mizaj of a drug. Mizaj of a drug, when physicians say it, it is basically when we administer the drug into the human body, we have certain tasir, we have certain effects. According to those effects which manifest in the body, they give some alamat, and we call the drug as this Mizaj. If there are Har alamat in the body, we say the drug is Har. If there are Barid alamat in the body, we say the drug is Barid. Similarly, and so on, we can say it. That we call the arzi Mizaj of a drug, which is required by the physicians, which is required by the tabib. But when philosophers talk about the Mizaj, they imply the innate Mizaj of a thing. This innate Mizaj is very different thing. It is basically the interaction of the arakan present in it, or the basic fundamental constituents, Har, Barid, Ratab and Yabis constituents. They interact with it, they admix in it, and they produce a kafiyat, and we say it is Mizaj of the drug. Again, in one more perspective, when we say heliomorphic theory, in heliomorphic theory, we say any constituent is made up of 3 things. Without these things, a thing cannot exist. It includes the mada, basic substance, the kafiyat or the form which generates the kafiyat, the specific form of an object, we call it species form, and then we have hayula or genus form, what we call surat-e-nawiyya. These three things when come together, we say that a substance exists. If any of these things does not exist or cannot be associated with a thing, we say it does not exist. Therefore, it is very important what these three things will do in the body. Whenever we take a thing, we say a drug we are taking. When we take it, these three things are three attributes which come into interaction with the body. What they do? If the madda is the main dominant thing, we say it is a food. It can be used for metabolism of the body. Wear and tear can be uh, ensured because of food. That if it is because of the form, it produces a kafiyat. When it interacts with the hararat gharizia, we say we have a tasir. Or because of the mizaj of a drug, the body functions can be altered. So this importance is that this form of the drug or kafiyat of the drug, which makes kafiyat of a substance, which makes it a drug, not the food. Then again there is one more thing what we say, hayullah, or we say surat anoia, the genus form. If because of that in the body we have certain effects, we say if it is not because of mizaj, it is not because of food, it is because of the surat anoia, we say it is a specific drug. It is drug bil khasa. Bil khasa when we say, so we don't have the exact mechanism in Unani medicine to explain those actions. So when we say about this, we say mutallaq drug is one which acts because of the predominant effect of mizaj. Now this predominant effect of mizaj, if it is innate, when philosophers say because of the arakon or because of the ajza, hara, bareda, admixture of the kafiyat comes when it interacts with the body, we have the tasir in the body. If it is because of that, we say it is a drug proper. And if it is because of the other two attributes also, we say that then we name certain things, gaza mutallaq, gaza dawai, dawa gazai, or dawa zulkhasa, like this one. But here we are very much interested in the mizaj of the drug. When we say we want to assess the mizaj of the drug, so we have two things. One is the mizaj zati and one is the mizaj arzi. When we say mizaj zati, it is because of the nature or the composition of the drug or nature of the drug. When we say arzi, it is what drug does in the body, whatever the tasir it produces, whatever the alamat it produces, we refer it that it has the same mizaj. Now in our study, what we did, first we wanted to see whether mizaj zati and mizaj arzi have similar effect or not. Are they in concordance in effect or not? So what we did, we went to the conceptual frame of toxicity, where we say various daraja adviya, they have their severity of action. If first degree daraja of a drug, it produces no effect when we give it again and again, just there is no extra normal effect in the body. We call it mutadil or first degree drug. Similarly, second degree drug, when we give it in the required dose once and then we administer it again, there will be produced an effect which will be adverse to the body. And in third degree, it will be in the first dose, it will be adverse to the body, and there will be some adverse and muzarat or poisonous effects. Then in the fourth degree, it is basically a poisonous drug. It has always adverse effect. Because of the adversity of the effect, we take it as a drug for certain effects which we desire in the body. So when we say potency of a drug, when the darajat get higher, the lesser the dose we need. Or when the darajat got higher, the adversity increases. Here what we did in the study, what we did, we took from the books, 10 books basically. From the books, what we calculated, we saw what is the mizaj of the drug, what is its degree, and then from major this our literature, ethnobotanical literature and pharmacological literature, we went to see the LD50 value of the drug. LD50 value drug was considered one variable and the Mizaj degree was considered the other variable. Here what we found when we correlated it, when we found the correlation coefficient, it was very high. It was very high correlation coefficient was found between Mizaj, between the LD50 of the drug and the degree of the drug. That means if the degree is small, the adverse effect will be, there will be no adverse effect. And if there is the degree of this Mizaj is more, the adverse effect will be more. LD50 will be less. So we have an inverse very high correlation between LD50 and the degree of this Mizaj. So it gives us an idea that surely we have a correlation, an inverse correlation between the degree of a drug and the LD50 of a drug. So it became a criteria for us. Now, for the classical Mizaj and degree of Mizaj and the LD50, we could do it. When we had an inventory, how we constructed it, I will tell it later. When we developed the inventory, we went for the Mizaj of a drug through inventory. And again, we see the Mizaj of the drug through inventory and LD50. We got very much high correlation, reverse high correlation. So both the things, classical this Mizaj of a drug and its darja and its LD50 was very much correlated. And here our drug, our inventory, which had this Mizaj of a drug, it also we saw that there was inverse correlation and very high correlation between LD50 and our Mizaj of a drug. Now, again in our thesis, which I have not put in the paper, I wanted to see whether Mizaj Zati and Mizaj Arzi had concordance. What we did, we found this Mizaj of a drug and its degree by our inventory and with these classical descriptions, what was the Mizaj and the degree of the drug. Then we correlated and we found this correlation very much positive. It was plus 0.89, very high correlation. And wherever the differences were, I think in 61 drugs out of 61 drugs, we found this difference or controversy in 3 or 4 drugs. There what we did, we took the experiences of our 10 physicians who had written it, ancient physicians who have clinically written it that it has this type of Mizaj and this daraja, and wherever we get high inter-rater, this inter-rater judgment, that is more than 5 people who have written what was it as daraja, we took it. So by that way we just ascertained first whether this Mizaj and LD50 innate and this, whether they correlate or not. We were very much sure that there is a substance in the study. Then we went on to develop this inventory. How we developed it? First, there was a problem with item construction. For item construction, what we did, we referred to the literature. Therein, again, Ibn Sina came to our help, and other Arab physicians, Persian physicians, they came to our help when we read it. There we had a theory how to determine Mizaj. So they said that this Mizaj can be determined by 2 steps. One step is what we call Mizaj bil Qiyas, and another step was the Tajruba, the confirmation of the Mizaj, which we got from Mizaj bil Qiyas. So it was a 2-step process. And this Mizaj by Qiyas was very important for us because it was the beginning that when we saw a thing, what it can be, its Mizaj, we have to go for the Qiyas. And then Ibn Sina says that we have 2 domains. We have basically the 2 domains, or we have the 2 types of attributes which can help us. The strongest attribute is the organoleptic attribute. It says that the taste is the best attribute for assessing the Mizaj. which is the very much vital and which is very much powerful, because it says he gives the argument, and this argument was propounded by Ali Gilani also, and also Hakim Azam Khan. They say that when we take a drug, put it on in the mouth, some of the constituents with our saliva, they get dissolved and they affect our taste buds. That means the drug really has acted on our system, though partially. So it was very close approximation. So they say that taste has the highest power to see whether the drug has this mizaj or this degree or not. Then they say the inferior one or lesser powerful is the smell. Exactly in the smell, we see that the more pleasant the drug, more hard it is. The very unpleasant the smell, it is more barid. And when there is no smell, it is definitely barid, because it requires heat to get these things out of the substance and let it contact our nose. But it is less powerful because it is action at a distance. Very small type of a molecule, they come and interact with our nose. And then he says, one more thing you can correlate with, that is color. You have to see at the object. If it is whitish, it will be barid. If it is red, it will be hard. In between, we have Vibgayar colors, and you can arrange it and go for the from barid to hard. But again, when we took these things, we needed more objectivity in it. For this objectivity, say for example, we wanted to see the objectivity in color. So what we did, we took a color chart. We took whatever the shading of red, whatever the shading of blue, whatever the shading of green or orange, all those things. We took these shades, graded it from 0 to 10, and then made an average in the shades, assigned the value to it. In that way, we try to have to get a value or a numerical data for color and its shades. And that helped us. But again, Ibn Sina says that it is very much inferior determinant of Mizaj. We did not rely on it. We give it a third degree treatment. The second thing, which was pleasantness or smell, we had 3 variables. In those 3 variables, we see what was the note, whether it was top note or it was base note, and then we saw for how much time the smell persisted. Did it persist for very small time, which was for 10 to 15 minutes, then moderate time, which was for 1 hour, then long time, which was for more than 2 hours. We selected this way, and then we graduated this scales and scores. Then we had another that was taste. It is the strongest. In our tube, fortunately, we have a comparator in taste. Say, for example, for a motadil, we can compare it with hollow taste. We say sugar or shahad. Shahad is far more hard than sugar. Sugar is chosen as the most motadil thing for hollow taste. Similarly, for acid taste, astringent taste, the drug mazu is considered as the comparator, standard comparator. These are in our books. Ibn Sina has again stressed on it. Compare it with this, and then you will see whether it is more affis, more hollow, or more mur, or astringent, or this we say pungent. Then we have to make a scoring. Now, what was the scoring? What we did for organoleptic taste, this taste was given the highest score of 3. From +3 to -3, because for minus we considered it as cold, plus we considered it as hot. And 0 was given for the motadil. In between, what was the in between the criteria 0 to this, about this taste? We put 0 for motadil thing, +3 for the most hard, and -3 for the least hard, the highest barid. Similarly, since we have three organoleptic characters in our Unani medicine, what we did, we gave them a ratio 3:2:1. 3 for 3 for taste, 2 for smell, and 1 for color. And accordingly, we graduated our scale. When we graduated this scale, what we did, we took all the possible parameters in the organoleptic domain and in this, what we say, in this physical properties domain. In organoleptic domain, we had three properties, three attributes, and in physical, we have 10 attributes. Among this, what our descriptions in Unani medicine were, we accordingly put them in har, moderate, and barid. Har, moderate, and barid. In that way, and we defined those items accordingly, and we could give them the score. Now, when we went for the items, we tried to standardize it, but only through inter-rater judgment we did not go too much because it needs more work. Though I will not say that it is the foolproof instrument, but it is an attempt. Now, again, what we did when we constructed this inventory, now there was a stage of scoring. So for this scoring, what we did, we went for equal interval scoring. What will be the highest score on the inventory? What will be the least score in the inventory? And then we give weighted averages, found the weighted averages, and accordingly we made what will be called the har, what will be called the barid, plus will be called the har, minus will be called the barid, and the daraja, whether it is first degree, second degree, third degree, or fourth degree, we made it in an equal interval scale. Here I have a doubt for myself also, and basically what we considered Ibn Rushd's definition of darajat in this inventory. If we go for the concept of Al-Kindi, we have to take geometric means. We have to take a geometric ratio for darajat to fix these scales. That is, least will be given more, then least will be given very less score, then again it will come a bit larger score, and then it will come more larger score, and it will be largest in this group, a severe group. That is the Al-Kindi's concept, geometric means. But we followed here Ibn Rushd. So we give equal intervals, and then we made a scoring base. And then what we did, we tried to see whether this scale is validated or not. For the validation of the scale, we went for external criterion validity. That is LD50 and what our classical people told about the score. These two things were taken up, and then we saw that there was a very good correlation matrix between classical Mizaj, which our scholars have given, and the Mizaj, which our inventory has taken up. In that way, physical domain, they have the numbering has been gone a bit wrong. From softness or stickiness, it has gone wrong. It should have been put, this numbering should have put different way. All those 10 attributes, they should have given a different numbering, and then sub numbering for their various states. So in this way, we made this an attempt, but it was not a small attempt, because when we see Unani medicine from the attack of Mongols in 1200 AD, we see very least this attempt for furthering the research in Unani medicine. Though people have compiled things, though people have preserved it, though people have observed certain phenomena and wrote it, but when we see the quest for this research, for furthering the predictive nature of our theme, it has got stuck. And mainly in the, though we may say in Soharwardi and other people, they have given us a conceptual base of various philosophical things that is very important for us. But about this tib, a lot many things had to happen which were delayed because of Mongol conquest. So here what we say, I will not say mine is the primary study or the first pioneering study. Mine is a small attempt to try to have a predictive nature of how we find Mizaj. Now, one more controversy or one more important doubt is there. Okay, whenever we go for this inventory, our variables are very much subjective and they are usually used in qualitative data. But when we are dealing with a drug where we can measure the dose, where we can see the effect, what is the need of the inventory? Again, I would refer that whenever we say the Dharajate Adviya, they are only categorized into three, which are discrete quantities. And when we say dose, that is a normal that has this continuity in measurement. Again, there will be a problem. How to make it a continuous variable? We can think of it, but at this time we don't have any tool. So the inventory is needed. Again, we further made a researches in how we will standardize the taste, for example, salt taste, serial dilution of salt taste, and we could find very much correlations with Mizaj, with the degree of the Mizaj, what our ancient scholars have told, and what is the saltiness threshold of the drug, and what is its effect. Even for pungency, we make serial dilutions for pungency. And bitterness value, which WHO also says, you can find the bitterness value of some chemicals. We found it for the crude drugs, and bitterness value also gave us the similar results. The paper will be published in PubMed for this bitterness values and Mizaj of a drug. But here I would like to just conclude it that this is a preliminary attempt. This inventory may be corrected again and again, refined and fine-tuned. But I hope that we will have an instrument by which we can assess Mizaj of a drug. So this Mizaj of a drug is for Mizaj bil Qiyas. Again, we have to verify it when we go into the human body. When this drug is tested in the human body. There we have the second protocol. This second protocol will include, we have done 2 studies for it. If God willing, I will be discussing it with you also. Where in humans we can assess the Mizaj of a thing, because basically the alteration of Mizaj we have to see. Sui Mizaj. Sui Mizaj can be because of a disease. It can be because of a drug in normal human beings. Ibn Sina has given us the concept that in normal human beings, if you are giving this drug, it will produce Sui Mizaj and you have to see it. And for Sui Mizaj, alamat are there. For predominance of Safra or Galbay Akhlat or Galbay Mizaj, both independently and separately, they have given us 5 alamat, 7 alamat, 9 alamat and 11 alamat for various types of, 4 types of this Mizaj, Galbay Mizaj and Galbay Akhlat. Even they have given us alamat for Sui Mizaj Ozu. All these 3 things, if we take together, we can see if a drug is administered in the body where we found the Mizaj by Qiyas, we can find this alamat, Sui Mizaj alamat, and then predict what will be, then we will find and determine what will be the Mizaj of the human body. On the basis of those alamat which are given in Ibn Sina's book or which is given in Rabban Tabri's book, we can find it. We can have a new protocol for it. And by this way, we will complete the incomplete work, which we see that it is like incomplete work of Ibn Sina, wherein he has given a protocol, Sharayat-e-Tajruba, he has given us 7 Sharayat, and all those 7 Sharayat are now the 7 protocols for drug identification, for drug standardization, for clinical trials, for human evaluation of Mizaj. And similarly, we can associate it with other protocols of drug development. So this we have to keep in our mind. When we have Mizaj bil Qiyas by this inventory, we have to develop, we have to have another protocol, which I am preparing. I have made 2 studies out of it. Then we have to study it in our human body when we give drug to the human body, and then we find with our own this alamate, galbay aklat and galbay mizaj. By that way, we can have another protocol. And these 2 protocols will complete the drug development of Unani medicine or Persian medicine. Because basically we are here to find the Mizaj, and then Mizaj will be related with the Tasir in the body. And again I say, in Unani medicine we say the Mizaj of a drug is basically what it does to the body. What are the alamat created in the body? We associate that Mizaj to the drug. Mizaj Zati has very much concordance with it, but some drugs which are hard in nature, they can have opposite effects in the body. In those diseases which are very hard, there are certain examples in our literature. But basically we have very high correlation between Mizaj Zati and Mizaj Arazi. With these submissions, I hope, I feel that I may not have justified very much my study, because I am talking from the phone. My slides, they are very much this. I could not show it in my computer, my tables and other things. I had almost there some 12 tables which I wished to show you, so that we could get an idea how we make it. But again, someday when we will be talking about human trials, how we find the Mizaj in the humans, of a drug in the humans, human volunteers, then that time I will be, maybe I will be able to show all those things. By this time, thank you very much. If there are certain suggestions and queries, it will be very much helpful for me also, so we may discuss it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ghulamuddin. Sofi, please explain more about the method of your research that you wrote it in your paper, and the result, and how do you now use the inventory about the Mizaj of Mufradat now?
Yes. Uh, this inventory we use for predicting the Mizaj of those things which can be intended for use in our Unani medicine or our traditional medicine. Because we have only a limited stock of 1200 drugs. 1200, Ibn Betar and other people, they have given 1200 species about their Mizaj and other things. But where we are located, we may have various plants, we may have various minerals, which are not discussed in the book. So if we take those things, we can easily see what is the Mizaj of that drug. By this inventory, we can have Mizaj bil Qiyas. And then again, we have to go to the humans and we have to trial it, and then we have to confirm the Mizaj bil Tajruba. And then we will develop it as a drug of our our pathy. We can, what we say, it is a predictive value. Now this time what I am doing, I am teaching my students about, I give them the sample of a drug, I say them go for the Mizaj as this inventory is. I do not tell them what is the name of the drug. It can be known drug, it can be a datura leaf, it can be anything which is known. Then when they go for this inventory check and find the Mizaj, then I tell them go to the books and see what is the Mizaj. If they find that there is some difference in the Mizaj, though for Har and Barid there is no problem. It comes as Ratab and Yabusat. There is no such problem. But the degrees definitely have certain problems. Sometimes in inventory we get it has degree of 3, but in books it is written degree of 2 or degree of 4. Then we sit together and then we discuss it. Where is the controversy? How can we solve it? Then we see that certain books have written it degree 3 to certain 3. Then we say whether we accept them or our inventory has to be fine-tuned. Often I tell them, no, what we should do, we should try to fine-tune our inventory so that we get the exact scores. This degree of 2 and degree of 3 does not matter, but degree of 3 and degree of 4 matters very much, because we have to change drastically the dosage from 3 to 4. From 1 to 2, no problem. 2 to 3, very small problem. But from 3 to 4 degree, there is a drastic change in the dose. 3 degree can be given up to 5 grams. But 4th degree Mizaj, it cannot be given above 1 gram. So at that time, we have to think whether our inventory is okay or whether books have clinical experience is okay. For me as a physician, as a Unani person, I feel the 1,000 years of experience is far more important than our tool, because our tool needs refinements. So at that time, we just go to the classical books. What was the experience of Akbar Arzani? What is the experience of Zakir Khwarizm Shahi? What the Ibn Sina says. Out of 10 books, if 7 books say this is the daraja, we say, okay, this is the daraja, we are going wrong somewhere. We need to fine tune. It is like that, though it is very new, but in NIUM, we are trying to see it in this light.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ghulamuddin, Sofi, other colleagues. If there is any comments, please open your microphone and discuss about the presentation.
Please, sir. Please, sir.
I continue a discussion just to other colleagues start discussion. Of course, your research, I think, is the first research about the Mizaj of drugs in Unani Persian medicine. And thank you very much for your good research and good idea about the standardization and documentation of the Mizaj of drugs in this school. But I think, as you know, the exact Mizaj of drugs is about the function of drugs inside the body of human, as you know.
Yes.
And of course, I think we need to assess the function of the drugs in the body and the action and reaction of the body about the drugs, and by the by using drugs, we could have a exact inventory and exact scale about the Mizaj of drugs in person and individuals. Maybe some people are hot, and we assess the Mizaj of some drugs in them, and maybe we select some barred or cold Mizaj individuals, participants, and assess the effect of drugs inside their body after using the drugs. And I think we will do a lot of work about the mizaj of drugs by the clinical trials and clinical intervention by the different type of drugs by different mizaj. Are you agree with me?
Yes, it is a good idea, but what I say, what Ibn Sina has said in the seventh this point in his Shai, he says that uh, without drug, the mizaj of a drug can be found when we use this drug in normal mizaj, mutadal mizaj people. If, for example, bil qiyas a drug is hot and we give it to a human person, a mutadal person, when he takes it, there will definitely be the alamat of sway mizaj har. Alamat of sway mizaj har, say for example, is increase in appetite, there will be too much thirst, there will be less output of urine, and all those things can be measurable. I think I have to go for one more presentation in how we go for the determination of mizaj of drugs in humans. One of our study is there. It is not, though we have not yet published it, but we can talk about it at this form, in this forum. So we can talk about it, and let us see can we can get a better this idea for determining the mizaj in humans. So Ibn Sina has told it that we have two steps. We have to go to the two steps. Step one is that we have to go it through mizaj bil qiyas, which I was explaining, though there are a lot of things which I have deliberately taken off. And then we have the tajruba or confirmation of the same mizaj in the human body. This is a two-step process in evaluating the mizaj. First, we have to see it at the level when we don't take this drug. And then Ibn Sina says, you have to see whether in human body it has the same mizaj or not. So together we have to take it. There are two models. Two models are there. One is we call dose studies, and another is we call mizaj studies. Dose studies also related to darje mizaj. That will be easier because dose escalation studies gives us the exact dose for its tasir, the minimum dose. That minimum dose will be as the migdare khurak. That is not written in our Unani medicine, but we can judge it in like that. And then we have this mizaj determination in humans. For that we have a protocol. Sometimes I will be deliberating on it, or Mujahidi sir may be deliberating on it, so that we may have better ideas about it.
Okay,
Professor
exactly. Please, Dr. Tafsir Ali.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to thank for this great program regarding the establishment of Mizaj in the single drugs. What Professor Ghulamuddin Sofi said that uh, Ibn Sina has already told about the processes to establish the Mizaj of the drugs. I would like to add that it is true, but in the present scenario, not only the physical characters and the action of the drugs and their output, but the chemical composition or chemical structure or the uh, just like these sciences or nanostructures are also to be added in the establishment of Mizaj.
Yes, I understood what you are saying, sir. There is two studies. Two studies have already been carried out. One by Azizi. What he says that we do not find any structural relation with Mizaj. He had seen this. He has studied, I think, more than 100 some drugs, and then found that whether they are alkaloids, flavonoids, they are terpenoids, they are glucosides, whatever they had the active principles, then went on for the what is the mizaj of the drug, or the mizaj of the drug, and then what his conclusion was, it was that we could not assess exactly the correlation, higher correlation between Mizaj and the chemical structure of the things. And it is true. It is not
No, it
necessary.
is Professor Ghulamuddin Sufi. It is true. I agree with you.
Yes,
Exactly, so many chemical reactions undergo in the human body that cannot be bring on the line of the parameters. It is impossible. It is only the ajnase ashra uh, which can prove, yeah, which can give some hint about the mizaj of the drug on the human body, mizaj and its action on the human body. But still, the single study or one or two studies or further studies cannot be the final dictate. It is necessary to undergo or to establish some standard process, not only the physical parameters or the classical dictates, but in the latest scenario, the modern sciences are also to be included, and a standard protocol is to be made to establish the mizaj or to find some fast way, because what we have knowledge about the mizaj of the drugs, what knowledge we have today, is the result of thousands or hundreds of years of experiences.
exactly, sir.
And now
Sir, I
everyone
understood,
wants
sir.
a fast track. So to establish the mizaj of the drugs, some standard protocol is to be established to get fast,
What I
faster
understand
results.
from you are this, sir. Thank you very much for this. It was very important idea. And what we are trying to do, this inventory, it takes us only 3 days to assess the Mizaj bil chaos. But it needs fine tuning. Say, for example, we have one parameter, inflammation. Here, what we did, we tried to see what is the inflammation, and then Fire Control Authority of Mysore, they give us the idea that you have to light up this and see with what time it will catch the fire, because they had their own problem that Bandipur area, their national park, it usually had the fire there every year once or twice. So they were very much perturbed. They had a division for it. When we contacted them, they told us like this. So what I did with my student, I said them, take certain drugs, have their mizaj, what is in the classical literature, and now go for burn them. See at what time they will completely burn and at what time they will start to burn. And by that way, we can see what is this lag time. If it is much increased, it is less inflammable. If it is very short, it is more inflammable. In that way, for solid drugs, we try to see the objective way of stating what our Unani people are saying. So that was how
Yes,
we did. One more character, burbarahat, brittleness of a thing. We could not think what Unani people say. They say that when we take it in the hand, when we take it in hand, it just breaks. We say it is more burbarahat because of the airy element in it. Airy element has and properties of uh, har and rata properties. Then how we did it? We just put it in the grinder, selected the speed. Then we see at what time it completely broke down with respect to other drugs. And then we try to see the time, the speed at which it breaks. If it breaks more easily, we say it has more barabarat. And if or we say it has more this brittleness. And if
yes,
there is more time is taken, we say it has less. So we have to develop these tools. And not only develop these tools, we have to validate them first also. With all these precautions,
exactly.
what will be the speed of the motor, what will be the area in which you are putting the drug, how much amount you are putting in the drug, and all these things we are doing here. And I am trying
Exactly,
to
it is not so easy process as it is think about. It is very complex process. I agree with you. It is
As
very difficult.
it will take time, but
It will
once,
take time. Agree.
then it will take not more than 3 days or 10 days to see what will be the mizaj of a drug.
Yes, yes.
But we have a way now. Only what we have to do, we have to make these empirical tools. We have to make these tools very objective. Say, for example,
Yes.
we have smell. What is top note? Unani did not know what is the top note. This idea we got from Kunnoj. Those people, we told them in our books, there is written that it is very much smelling, it is very much pleasant, it is very much this. What to do with it? Then the person involved with perfumery, he was a professor. He had a seminar in Bangalore. We went there and then asked him what to do. Then he said it is very easy to differentiate them into notes. Let it be top note, let it be base note, let it be medium note.
Yes.
Similarly, he said, let us see the persistence of the smell. You can do it like that. So by interacting it through various disciplines, we can create our tool. And if small tools are created for small things, they will accumulate someday and we will have a big thing with us.
Inshallah. I am also hopeful. And
I hope.
it is so important topic. I really very much grateful and thank to the organizers and thank you for this very good lecture because it is so important topic that is being ignored by most of the
Exactly.
cannot treat a disease, we cannot treat the person. It is so important. Even in the allopathic medicine, every chemical has a mizaj. And the untoward reaction or worst effects are because we are not considering the mizaj.
Exactly, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to once again appreciate Dr. Sufi for his great presentation and for the presence of all of the participants. I think that we have this potential and this readiness in Iran, especially in the Mizaj research group, to establish a specialized research group on this topic. I think we have to work together to work much more on the Mizaj of the Advia and different drugs. And as Dr. Sufi said, this is only the beginning of this way, and there are so much works that should be done, especially with the help of the allopathic medicine specialists, especially in the field of pharmacology and pharmaceuticals, to work to work in an integrative, approach to this concept of the Mizaj and the level of the power and Mizaj of the Advia, and just to provide valuable and reliable scientific evidence in this regard. So I would like to invite all of the scholars and our colleagues to join us to form and establish such a group to work together on this topic. Okay, thank you again, Dr. Sufi, and I think we are at the end of this presentation time, and if you had any other point at the end of this presentation, we are it's good we are going to receive it. Please say if you have any ending point.
Thank you, sir, very much. Basically, whatever I tried it, I tried my level best to express what we are doing here. But one thing which strikes me, that is our medicine, or our way of thinking, it is phenomenological. I am just stressing the word phenomenology. That is, we are noting the things macroscopically, having a keen observation, putting all our observations, document it, and then take a decision what is happening in the body. And similarly, ذكر عوض قوارض شاهد, it states that for any function or whatever you are saying, say for example digestion, when it starts and when it ends, he gives an argument, a macroscopic this argument. Say for example, he says the digestion ends in mouth when we feel a bit sugar taste in the mouth when we are chewing the things. Similarly, he says about when it descends from the stomach. He gives an argument. When it reaches to the Uruke Masarika, he gives an argument. And those arguments are very important, and they are the treasures which we have. And I am saying we are phenomenological, we are macroscopic, and we see patterns of disease, we see Mizaj variations, and this is all what is we call microscopic or phenomenological. And we should be very much this proud that we have a comprehensive pathy which looks at the world in a phenomenological way, and that can have the same validated observations in microscopic world also. People in physics, they have tried to evaluate what is the comprehensive theory of forces. They said that there are a lot of forces, then they came to 4 forces, and now they are saying that no, it should have one source, one force somewhere. Abdul Salam and others, they made a theory for it, comprehensive theory for the forces. When they are making this thing, and we have all those things, observational things, we have all the rules, we have all the principles, we can go further. And this is what is postmodernism. I am not saying it is ancient. This is postmodernism. For this, I would refer a book, Fitzgerald Capra, The Uncommon Wisdom and Biological Systems. 2 books he has written about the philosophical predictions of this modern medicine. He says now we are going into the era of systems biology. We are going in the era of holism. When we have all these things, why not to look at things phenomenologically? Take the topography, take the factor analysis, take the multivariate analysis of statistics with our observations, and we can have a science which will be far modern and will give us a very much comprehensive healthcare system than this machine system which we are living today. It is all related to economy, and they are exploiting the pockets of common people. And there is nothing left in modern medicine now. These are my concluding remarks. So we need to be people with traditional minds, but with postmodern thinking. Thank you very much, sir.
Very nice, Dr. Sofi. Thank you very much for your concluding points, and thanks again. Hope to see you soon. Okay, dear colleagues, and I have to say goodbye and have a good time.